of a lion.
Okay, with the Gemara Sanhedrin, Ayin Zayin Amid Beis 77 B3 in the Schattenstein Gemaras. I think this piece we learned already. We'll start anyway. Okay, Ayin Zayin Amid Beis, all the way 4 lines to the other the page of Ayin Zayin Amid Beis. Amid HaPab, the Gemara is talking about killing people directly, indirectly. You know, if it's chayiv, you're not chayiv. How indirect, how direct. If the guy could have gotten out himself, couldn't have gotten out himself. So Amir Papa said, if a guy throws a stone, a big stone, a rock, upwards, and it went somewhat to the side, meaning it didn't go straight up. It fell to the side, okay, of the thrower's position, and then it killed somebody. Chayiv, the person is chayiv, okay, because it's considered a direct hit. That's what the Papa's statement. So Ravashi said, Rapapa, my timer. Why? Because this is his force, right? That he made the stone go up. So the Gemara said, but then the stone should, if it should continue to go upwards, because that's the direction he threw it. In other words, why is it coming down? Is the person chayiv when he only threw it upwards, not downwards? So the Gemara says, no, what?
Would that be like
because it's going to happen.
No. So Rabbi says, if it wasn't his force, she should go straight down, not to the side. What made the stone go to the side? It's his force. It's a weak force, but it's enough of a force that when the rock hits the guy and he kills him, you consider the chayiv. Okay? Okay, next piece of Gemara. This is an interesting Gemara. A gang attack on a guy. 10 people beat up a guy and he dies. Who's chayiv? Rabbanan learned like this. He called Asada b'nei Adam Asada Makles. If 10 people beat somebody with a stick, okay, with 10 sticks, the mace and the guy died, bein b'basachas, whether they did it one after another, together, all simultaneously hit him with the stick, or b'zeh bein b'zachas put in their potter. Why? Because not one person killed them. You can't kill 10 people. One person has to kill somebody. So therefore, because not any person, not even one any person was the one that killed them. All 10 killed them. So you can't kill all 10 people.
What about the final blow?
1 minute. Rabbi Yehuda ben Beseira says no. If it was one after another, then Ochran chayiv. Then the last one is chayiv. Why is the last one chayiv? Nishakitiv is misosi because he actually made it closer. In other words, like this. The guy was going to die anyway. The bottom line is the guy was going to die from the other 9 or 8, whatever it is. So therefore, the first opinion, the Chachamim hold, potter, because there's not one guy that killed him. Rabbi Yehuda ben Beseira says that even though he would have died anyway, but the bottom line is your last hit made it happen quicker. And because of that, the last one's chayiv. So the Gemara explains, what's the logic? Where do they learn out both opinions? Why do the Chacham say potter? Because all 10 killed them and therefore none of them are chayiv. And Rabbi Yehuda ben Beseira says, if it was one after another, the last one's chayiv. So Amir Rabbi Yechanan Shneim Mikra Echodosh, both the Chachamim and Rabbi Yehuda ben Beseira explain the argument is based on the pasuk. What's the pasuk? It says Ish ki yakel kol nefesh adam. It says in the pasuk, if a man kills kol nefesh adam and all human life, simply means that a guy will kill all human life. So Chachamim hold, what does all nefesh mean? Adi'iko kol nefesh. You have to kill him completely. You can't kill him halfway. The pasuk says, Ish kiyaka kol nefesh means the entire life. So if 10 people are doing it, it doesn't matter together one after the next. Not one of them killed them all. The Rabbi Yehuda ben Beseida says, no, what does kol nefesh mean? Kol duhu nefesh. Kol nefesh means any part of a soul. Mamash the opposite. What does kol nefesh mean? Chachamim say kol nefesh means the entire person. So therefore, if you don't kill the entire person, you're not chayiv. So therefore, 10 people beating him up, it doesn't matter if it's together or one after the next, you're not chayiv because you didn't kill him yourself. Rabbi Yehuda ben Beseida says, no. If it's zachar zeh, then the last guy was the one that killed it, part of it. Even though he was going to die anyway. But the fact that he made him die quicker is according to the Rabbi Yehuda ben Beseida, which is, by the way, an interesting thing. If you go into the medical world with this concept, if a guy is dying and you make him die quicker, according to the Rabbi Yehuda ben Beseida, you're chayiv misa. It's called total murder. Because that's what he says. 9 people hit him. The guy's going to die anyway very soon. Right? And all of a sudden, the 10th guy comes and hits him and he dies quicker. So you can't do anything. Okay, no, in fact, the Gemara is going to discuss an interesting thing. If a guy kills a geisis or a treifa, okay, now it's another interesting Gemara.
What about the case of rape?
What?
When too many people God forbid.
Yeah, but everyone did a separate act of rape. But what's not misa? Everyone's chayiv for the rape.
Right.
Okay, Amar Rava. Rava said like this. Hakol made him, both Rabbi Yehuda Chachamim and Rabbi Yehuda ben Beseida both agree. Beherig is a treifa shu potter. What is a treifa? A treifa means a person that has like a behema, a treifa. It's the same thing, behemoth of an animal and a treifa of a person. A treifa means literally means that it was ripped apart. That's the treifa actually means, when you say something is treif, it means not kosher. But the literal definition of treifa, treifa means toraf Yosef. He was ripped apart. So in other words, because of that ripping apart, that the person or the animal has a blemish, and because of that blemish, they will not be able to survive 12 months. That's the definition of treif by an animal. You know, when you have to check the lungs and the inner sides of them, make sure there's no punctures and holes and all that, right? The concept of Chum say is that if the animal won't be able to survive 12 months, it's a treif, and therefore if you shecht it, you can't eat it because it's like a dead animal already. So you didn't shecht it. That's the data. Same thing by a person. There's a concept of a treifa by a person. A treifa by a person means the guy is not going to be able to live for 12 months. So they say, everybody agrees. This is what Rav says. By the way, when it says potter, doesn't mean you're allowed to do it. It means you just don't get capital punishment. I mean, you don't get capital punishment, but it's still murder. You still can't do it, by the way. Amar Rav, another Kevorkian, whatever his name was, Kevorkian and Torah law was a murder because he made people die sooner. So according to Rabbi Yehuda ben Beseida bichat. But anyway, here the Gemara says like this: Hakomaydim, that the Chachamim and Rabbi Yehuda ben Beseida both agree. Beherig is a treifa. If somebody kills a treifa, he's potter. Okay, in other words, he's going to die. Or like you says, the esophagus or the membrane of his brain was pierced. Okay? Now, therefore, why aren't they chayiv? One second. Why aren't they chayiv, according to them? Because he's basically dying anyway. So therefore, if he's dead, you're not killing a living person, you're killing a dead person. What?
So how is Kevorkian's work, where he's helping someone who's already going to die, differ from that of a person going to hospice and getting a morphine drip till they die?
Over there, you're active and passive. He was actively doing it.
How is this different?
Oh, passive is allowed?
I didn't say it's allowed, but passive is not active killing.
Yeah, that's true.
Hello?
You're talking about the time difference, not the...
Kevorkian was active killing.
But so is giving somebody morphine.
No, morphine is to make him...
But who lives off of morphine?
It doesn't matter. It just it makes him painless.
Or both of them are going to die.
Okay, so but this is active killing.
But morphine active.
Pulling the plug on a respirator
That's active.
It's active killing.
is active killing.
Yeah.
The only question is, if they say he's brain dead, so then the question is, what is death? If your brain death is dead, then the guy's dead anyway already, so you're killing a dead person. Okay, but if you hold respiratory death, which most poskim hold, meanwhile, they're changing their opinions, but meanwhile, there's respiratory death, you're killing a person. Okay, let's see what he says. But geisis bidei shemayim, but if a person is a geisis, bidei shemayim from heaven, then he's chayiv,
What does grace
Huh?
Grace is? What does it
Okay, we're going to explain in a second. A geisis is basically a person who's starting the dying process.
It's in a death row.
What's it called?
Goses. Goses means that person actually begins the dying process. And therefore, for instance, in Allah it says, if a person's a geisis, once the dying, nobody's allowed to touch him. Because touching him might hasten the death quicker than it's coming from heaven. But geisis is actually when the person starts. Okay, so he says like this: "But geisis b'mei shemayim." That means it wasn't. What do you mean geisis b'mei shemayim? He's not dying because somebody hit him or somebody hurt him. This is min hashemayim. Hashem is getting the person starting the dying process. So then everybody says chayiv. You be chayiv. Gemara's going to explain this in a second.
Every death is
kill a
not
grace.
No, if a guy beats somebody up and he's dying, that's good. Yeah, but the guy caused it, not Hashem caused it. I mean, of course, everything's Hashem. But, I mean, the guy did it. It's not Hashem. When are they arguing, the geisis bidei adam. When it was caused by a person, okay? Meaning, the 9 people killed him, beat him up, right? That's the case over here. What's the case that Rabbi Yudam saying and Chacham are arguing about? 9 people beat him up, okay? And then the 10th guy came, hit him, and he died. Chacham say Potter, because you didn't kill the whole guy. And Rabbi Yudam says, no, you're chayiv, because you killed part of him, okay? He says, that's a case of geisis bidei adam. Where people, because they beat him up, that's what caused them to die. One, meaning the Chachamim will say Potter liken this to the concept of a treifa, meaning the guy's dying anyway. If he's dying anyway, he's considered dead already. Therefore, if you kill a treifa, Rabbi said everybody agrees you're Potter, because you're killing somebody who's dead already. But Omar Savad, Omar and the one, meaning Rabbi Yudam Seiro, Medamal Legeis B'dei Shemayim. He compares it to a geisis b'dei Shemayim when Hashem is making him die. In other words, according to Rabbi Yudam Seiro, there's no difference between Hashem making you die or a person causing you to be a geisis. So therefore, just like everybody says geisis b'dei Shemayim is chayiv, so Rabbi Yudam Seira says, geisis b'dei adam, if people did it, it's the same thing as Shemayim. Okay, so he says like this.
I don't understand from this in one sentence.
What do you don't understand?
If a person
Kills a treif, again, you're not allowed to do it, obviously.
If you hit someone to the point that they become
If
almost died.
No. If somebody is very sick, okay, they're a treifa. They didn't begin the dying process yet. But they're dying, eventually.
Within a year.
Yeah. And somebody kills them, everybody says you're not chayiv misa.
Because he was going to die anyway.
Because he's going to die anyway. You're not doing anything. You're just making it sooner. So everybody says you can't get killed for killing a person. You have to kill a living person. You can't kill a person that's... Just like the halacha is, if somebody, until a baby is 30 days old, they don't have a chazaka that they're alive. That's the opinion of Ben. You do on the 31st day. The Kohen wants his money. He's, how do you know the kid's going to live? Maybe he's going to die and I'll say $5. 5 shekels. Okay? So the din is, if somebody kills a baby that's less than 30 days old, you're not allowed to do it. But you can't get misa, because we don't know for sure he's alive. When can you get killed for killing somebody? If you kill a definitely alive person. Okay, that's simple. Okay. Therefore, an abortion is technically murder, but you can't get killed for doing an abortion because you don't know that the baby's going to live. For a guy, it might be worse. Okay? For a guy to do an abortion is worse than for a Jew to do an abortion, according to most opinions. Okay, but that's separate. Now, if somebody therefore kills a treifa, everybody says potter. Everybody says you can't kill him. Why? Because the guy's dying anyway. Geisis, we're going to see more the explanation of it. But if it's Geisis b'dei shemayim, meaning the person's dying was caused by Hashem, so then if somebody kills him, everybody says he's chayiv.
Why? Opposite of the reasoning.
I understand. Let's just get the din straight first. And then he's chayiv.
One more time. If he's Geisis.
Geisis b'dei shemayim mean Hashem is killing the person.
It's the same thing as what we were saying now. He's going to die within a year.
Yeah, but there's a difference. That's what we're saying between treifa, that he's not dying yet, and a person who's a geis is dying. Even the logic said the opposite, but let's leave it at this now.
Most people are going to die within a year.
Everybody's going to die at the end of 120.
No, we're talking about people who are in deathbed.
But a geis is bidei shemai, meaning if Hashem is killing the person is dying. And somebody kills him,
Natural causes.
natural causes. And then the din is he would be chayiv. Okay? Now-
supposed murderer is liable to monetary damages. He's not going to get killed, but does he have to pay monetary?
But the Gemara says the difference between geisis and treifa, geisis has a chance of recovery.
Oh.
Treifa, this is what the Gemara says. A geis bidei shemayim. A geisis has the ability to recover. A treifa doesn't. Therefore, because a geisis has the ability to recover, when you kill him, you're killing him. Treifa is for sure going to die. Okay, so therefore, if a treifa is going to die anyway, when you kill him, again, you're not allowed to, but you can't be chayiv. Okay, 1 second. So now what's the question? Geisis bidei adam. If a person is dying because people beat him up, and he's dying. So the question is it like a treifa that you potter, or is it geisis b'dei shemayim, is that people do the same thing? If God did it, and then you'd be chayiv. So the chachamim who say potter, okay, that if 10 people beat him up, even if the last guy beats him up, and he dies sooner, he's potter, that's because they liken it to treifa. They liken it to the concept of treifa, and treifa is potter, because he's for sure not going to live, and therefore he's going to die, and therefore you didn't kill a living person.
Rabbi,
Rabbi Yehuda say the holds? No. It's like geisis b'dei shemayim, that there's a possibility of recovery, and therefore if there's a possibility of recovery, you're for sure the one killing him now, and therefore you'd be chayiv. That's the argument of the Gemara. What?
if a guy, God forbid, has a terminal disease and doctors say that he will not survive it in 3 months, for example,
Right.
is it considered as terfa or as complicosis?
Treifa.
Why? Because it's an
He didn't start the dying process yet. Geisis is when you start the dying process.
It's a process that...
No. Geisis means actual... The guy didn't die yet. He's not dead.
It's worse. It's the guy is more.
But we
closer
said
to
a
death.
geisis, the Gemara says, has a chance of recovery, and a treifa doesn't.
But in fact, the description of a geisis is someone who's much closer to death than a treifa.
He's closer than
We're,
any chance.
we're defining treifa as someone who has no solution, but he's farther away from death. And a geisis is much closer to death, but it's not a terminal. He could have recovery. Is that how they were defining it?
How does he have a chance to recover once you're in that process?
Taisus asks the question over here. 1 second. Let's get this straight. Taisus over here asks the question. Tema. The Gemara says in a different place, Reiv geisis and lamisa. The majority of geisis die. So how can you say that? And he quotes that by dinei nefashis you go after Reiv. You go after the majority. So l'chayra, why if you kill a geisis, Taisus asks, are you potter? L'chayra, you should be chayiv. I mean, why are you chayiv? You should be potter. Because he's dying anyway.
In most
Okay.
cases.
So he says, because the Torah says it's possible that he might get better.
But by treifa, it's impossible. Everything is possible. Why do we?
Because he says, because if a guy is a geisis, it doesn't mean for sure he's dying.
And a treifa for sure, 1,000%.
The Gemara says a treif, and therefore halacha says an interesting thing. Those doctors are not going to like. The Gemara says what the Chachamim establish as a treifa is a treif, even if doctors say in the medical world it's not true, and the reverse. The Torah says not a treifa, even if the doctors say it's treifa. There's a story with the chassid of the Tzemach Tzedek, Rabbi Yosef, whatever, I forgot his last name. A big chassid out of the Tzemach Tzedek, a big Rav, and he was very ill. And the Tzemach Tzedek told him to move to Eretz Yisrael, and he lived another 20 years. So he asked Tzemach Tzedek, what's the thing? So he said, because the illness he had was a machlekes between the Beis Yosef and the Ramah, if it's a treifa or not. Beis Yosef said it's not a treifa, and the Ramah said it is a treifa. So the Ramah was the Rav of Europe, correct? I mean, Beis Yosef lived in Eretz Yisrael. He was the Pesach of Eretz Yisrael. So Tzemach Tzedek told him, here you're going to die because the halach is like the Ramah, that it's a treifa. But if you go to Eretz Yisrael, the Pesach halach is like the Beis Yosef, then you're not a treifa, you're going to live longer. So that's the story that happened. I mean, but even halacha says, even if doctors say it's not true, that you could live longer than 12 months with it, it doesn't matter. If Torah says it's treifa, it's treifa. It's the opposite. If doctors say it's not a treifa, and Torah says it is a treifa, it doesn't matter what it says. Clear in Shulchan, it doesn't matter what doctors say. This is what the Chachamim established. Halacha Sinai. This is what it's all about. Okay, so let's see now what the Gemara says. So, killing a lot of people. Killing a lot of people, yeah. So the Gemara says, the Gemara asks you this: one likens it to treifa, right? And one likens it to Geisa B'dei Shemayim. So Gemara says, why does this guy liken it to this and this guy liken it to this? You could either liken it to Geisis or Treifa, right? Why does one say it's likened to Treifa and the other one says it's likened to Geisis? Why? So the Gemara says, Ma medam alom letreifa, the one that mean Chachamim that say that Geisis B'dei Adam is like a Treifa. So the Gemara says, why does he liken it to treifa? My time medam Geisis B'dei Shemayim. Why? In other words, why do the Chacham liken it to treifa? Why don't they liken it to Geisis B'dei Shemayim? It makes more sense because Geisis B'dei Adam and Geisis B'dei Shemayim should be likened to each other, not Geisis B'dei Adam to treifa. So the Gemara says like this: Geisis B'dei Shemayim leYisaveh b'Maisim. A dying person that's dying natural from heaven, nobody did anything. Nobody did anything to him. It's all coming naturally from Hashem. But in this one, when you beat the guy, you hit him, the 10th guy hit him with the stick, Yisaveh b'Maisi, you did an action. So you can't compare it to Geisis B'dei Shemayim. Over there, you didn't do anything. So the Gemara says, according to Rabbi Yehuda, that likens if the 10th guy hit him to my Geisis B'dei Shemayim, that you're chayiv my time letreifa. Why doesn't he liken it to treifa also? So he says treifa mechatcha simonim. A treifa, basically, the whole concept of the treifa, the vital organs have been cut. That's the definition of a treifa. That the vital organs have been cut, and therefore he's for sure going to die. But this, when a guy hits him, he's not dying because something was cut. He's dying because something was bruised or hit or beat up.
And in those days, there was no...
It's not an injury that causes a vital organ to
What do you mean cut? Non-functioning?
No, to make a hole in it or to cut it in half.
Pierce.
And in those days, there was no surgery to fix it.
That's surgery in those days.
And not the same as now.
Why? But not like now. Now they don't know what they're doing. Those years they knew what they were doing.
Like a hole in an animal's intestines is...
It says Abaya poured 300 cups of...
Where did cesarean surgery begin? That wasn't surgery.
Caesar.
From Caesar.
That's not surgery.
It is surgery.
Yeah.
It's not surgery?
Yeah.
Cesarean?
To open up someone's heart and sew it up and put it back.
Open up somebody's stomach and it's also, legally it's called surgery, by the way. Okay.
Abaya did a brain surgery.
How many layers is it?
Took out the worm from someone's brain.
I don't know if he did brain surgery or whatever. If you call that surgery, yeah, surgery is any time. You take out a splinter, it's called surgery too. Huh?
It's a procedure.
So what? Surgery. And surgery is not a procedure. Okay, that's surgery. Okay, now the Gemara says like this, and these are all interesting Gemaras. Don't do this at home about beating people up and killing them and all that. A teacher of a Braisa, in other words, somebody learned a Braisa in the presence of a Rashashis. It says like this. It says in the pasuk, "Ish Yaakov kol nefesh adam." If a man will strike all, like we said before, all of human life, lahavi includes like this: hamakas chaverai. If somebody hit somebody, ve'im beikadei lahamis, and it was not sufficient enough to kill him. I mean, the guy hit him, but it wasn't enough to kill the guy. Another guy came and killed him. The denis is chayiv. The second one is chayiv. Mainly, the first guy hit him but couldn't kill him. He wouldn't die from it, and then the second guy killed him. So the Gemara is 1 second. Pshita, of course it is. I mean, why would I think the first guy did hit him that he couldn't kill him, and the second guy killed him? So of course the second guy's chayiv. What are you telling me? He said, no, it means like this. Yesh beikadei lahakis. The guy, what the Braisa means is the guy had the ability in the first hit to kill him.
It doesn't say pshita. It says Shusterman. Rabbi Yehuda wouldn't say.
Well, you're reading. No, you're 5 lines off. So Gemara says, "En beikadolam is pshita." Of course, you're chayiv. I mean, of course, the second guy's chayiv, not the first guy. So Gemara says, no. The chiddush is like this: Yesh beikadei lahamis. The first guy hit him, and he hit him hard enough that he could have died by himself. And the person came and killed him. Shulchayev, that the second one's chayev mamish, which is Rabbi Yehuda ben Seida's opinion, right? 10 people killing him, each one of them, but the last guy killed him, and Stomed, the meaning this Braisa, nameless, is according to Rabbi Yehuda ben Seida. Okay, next like this. Amar Rav Rav said another thing. If somebody kills a treifa, like we said before, potter, right? Because the guy's dying anyway. But treifa shahara, what happens? A guy is a treifa, and he kills somebody else. Does Bezdin kill him?
It's already dead.
Dead man walking.
Well, 1 second. But the Gemara's got it. So he says like this. So the Gemara says, Bifnei Bezdin, listen to this. If the guy killed, the treifa killed somebody, right? Means the guy's dying in 12 months. Yeah, within 12 months. He kills somebody else. So the din is like this. If he kills him in front of Bezdin, he's chayiv. If he kills him out of Bezdin, and there are witnesses testifying that the guy killed him, then he's potter.
Wow.
A treifa is killing somebody. So Rava says like this: if he kills him in the presence of Bezdin, he's chayiv misa.
Okay.
If he does it out of Bezdin, even with witnesses,
Why?
he's potter.
Why?
Don't you think the Gemara is going to say? B'fnei Bezdin, my time a chayiv. Why? He says, get rid of the evil from your midst. The guy did evil. He's going to die anyway, but kill him early. I mean, well, okay. But why, if he does it outside of Bezdin, he's potter?
Why is my timer in princes? Doesn't that
Because it's different versions, whatever. Because it's witness testimony that you can't do hazam to him. Okay?
Because you can't kill him.
Huh?
Because you can't kill him. Well, you could kill a treifa.
Okay, I have to explain this. It's going to take a few minutes. Witnesses, you know what hazama is? Hazama is, okay, let's...
Contradiction.
Not contradiction, a certain type of contradiction. 2 witnesses say Reuven killed Yaakov. And two other witnesses say Shimon killed Yaakov. Okay? Two witnesses say Reuven killed Yaakov. Two other witnesses say Shimon killed Yaakov. That's called hakchosha. Hakchosha means they're contradicting each other, right? They cancel each other out. There is no testimony. Not Reuven gets killed, not Shimon gets killed. Because there's no witness. They cancel each other. 2 and 2 cancel each other out. 2 and 100 cancel each other out, by the way. If two witnesses, with halacha trei kameya, two witnesses is like 100 witnesses. I know it's not like that in the secular system, but there's exeris hakosiv. The Gemara says that two witnesses and 100, meaning if two witnesses say Reuven killed Yaakov, and 100 witnesses say Shimon killed Yaakov, it's 2 against 2, and they cancel each other out, and there's no testimony. Okay, 2 and 100 are the same. Now, what's hazama? Hazama is two witnesses come, and they say on Monday morning in L.A., Reuven killed Shimon at 10 o'clock. That's what they testify. Comes along with two other witnesses and say, how could you two testify that Reuven killed Yaakov? Monday morning, 10 o'clock in L.A., Monday morning at 10 o'clock, you were with us in New York.
Is that Aiden Zonanin?
Eidim Zeimim, yeah. That's called hazama. Eidim Zeimim. Okay? Yes. What does the Torah say you do by hazama? The two first witnesses, this all doesn't make sense. Well, there's a Rabbeinu V'chai that makes sense out of it, but officially it's exeris hakosiv, it doesn't make sense. Anyway, so the second witnesses are believed that the two witnesses were in New York with them, so there was no way they could testify Monday morning in L.A. that they saw the murder, right? So the Torah says you believe the second pair of witnesses, not they cancel each other out. The Torah says in this case you believe the second pair of witnesses, and because the second pair of witnesses, the first pair of witnesses, wanted to get Reuven killed for killing Yaakov, correct? So what do? You kill them. Yes? Got it?
Kill the witnesses.
That's 8. You kill the witnesses
First person.
because they wanted to get somebody else killed who was innocent, and therefore you do to them what they wanted to do. Now, there's a rule that edus that cannot become zaymimin. In other words, if witnesses testify in a case where for whatever reason it is, you cannot do to them what they wanted to do to somebody else, it's called edus shiyat yochel azima. Witnesses you cannot be do hazama to because it's impossible to do to them what they wanted to do to the other guy. Okay? The rule is edus that you cannot do hazama to are not kosher witnesses. Again, illogical. Torah says witnesses have to be able to be hazamad, which is incorrect Hebrew. Okay? Now, if this treifa killed somebody, two witnesses are testifying that he killed somebody. Treifa killed somebody, right? Now, if they're proven wrong through hazama, you can't kill the witnesses because the guy, the treifa, was supposed to get killed by Bezdin, right? He's not a living person. So the witnesses cannot get punished to do to them what they wanted to do to the treifa because Bezdin, the guy's dead already.
He's already punished.
He's already punished. Therefore, the Rabbi says very brilliantly, if he did it in Bezdin directly, Bezdin doesn't need witnesses. So Bezdin saw the treifa kill him, he killed the treifa. But if it's outside Bezdin, and Bezdin only knows by the testimony of the witnesses, because this guy is a treifa, you can't do to the witnesses what they wanted to do to the treifa because he's dead already. So then, therefore, it's not kosher witnesses, so we don't know that the treifa killed somebody because there's no witnesses. There are witnesses, but the witnesses cannot be hazamad, whatever, and therefore you can't do to them what they wanted to do.
Didn't we learn that a judge cannot be a witness and vice versa? How could Beit Din be a judge and executioner?
It's a very good question. I was thinking that also, and I believe 1 second. There is. But but the Mefarshim say over here, 1 second. They're not doing it as testimony. 1 second. But you see, the question, the point is, Bezdin can kill him without any testimony. So then it's not a question of testimony. He did it in Bezdin. Oh, that's the Vart. The Vart is like this. If the Bezdin was outside of the court, witnesses, they cannot testify in Bezdin.
Because then they're witnesses. Because
then they're coming as witnesses. If the crime was done in the courtroom, then they don't need witnesses.
But the Gemara doesn't say be-based. It says in front of the base.
Right.
Based in...
No, b'fnei Bezdin means in Bezdin.
In Bezdin?
Yeah, that's what it means. So he says like this. Shalei b'fnei Bezdin, okay, back to the Gemara. So why, if it's not in front of Bezdin, Rav says the potter? He says, because you can't do to the witnesses what they wanted to do to the treifa, because the treifa is already dead, right? Is leshma edus, is not a kosher edus. Okay? Okay, now. Okay, we'll see the start this next Gemara. We don't need explanation. Amar Rava says. Oh, by the way, Taisa says an interesting point over here, that b'fnei Bezdin means during the day. For instance, if the guy killed the guy in Bezdin at night, when Bezdin doesn't Bezdin, so then again it's testimony, and then you wouldn't be able to kill him.
Even though they were in there, they were just not in session.
Right.
At night they're not.
Right.
I'm so sorry. Can you define the difference between Hazama and Hachosha one more time, please?
Hachosha means they're arguing on the fact. Reuven killed him, no, Shimon killed him.
Okay.
That's Hachosha.
And Hazama is...
Hazama is, the second witnesses say, we don't know who killed anybody. They're not arguing on the testimony. They're arguing on the witnesses. Hachosha is, this guy says, Reuven owes $1,000. There's two say he doesn't owe $1,000.
They say Shimon owes $1,000.
Right. Reuven borrowed the money. No, Shimon borrowed the money. So they're arguing on the testimony, on the facts. Here, Azama means they're not arguing about the fact. You tell me Reuven killed Shimon. You know what? Maybe he did. We don't know. But one thing, how could you say that you testified Monday morning in LA? You were Monday morning in New York. So they're not testifying against the facts of the testimony. They're testifying on the of the witnesses, and the validity of the witnesses.
What's the tzitza of these two differences?
Hachosh is they cancel each other out. There's no witnesses, period. Hazama is, the Torah says, Gzeres HaKosev, you do to them. Because the question is, by Hachosha, it's logical. 2 against 2, so I can't believe either one better. So they're non-existent. Hazama, maybe the second ones are lying and not the first ones. Think about it. Maybe I wasn't with them in New York. Yeah? It doesn't make sense. Why do I believe the second? And not only that, if another group of witnesses come,
we believe them.
And they say, how could you say he was in New York, you were with us in China? You always believe the last pair.
Akasha is a Zomanim too, because one of them is lying. One set is lying.
How do you know? I'll give you an example. Okay? Okay. We'll leave this Gemara. 2 say Reuven killed Yaakov. 2 witnesses say Shimon killed Yaakov.
Right. It can be both of them.
Correct. Well, according to this Gemara, it's possible, but normally they're saying he did it, yeah? Now think. Which one's lying? We don't know. Okay? Set A We're going to go set A and set B. Set A says Reuven killed him. Set B says Shimon killed him. So one of them's lying. Now, can set A come and testify something else somewhere else? Maybe they're liars.
We don't know.
So they have a chazaka that they're not liars, right? Can one guy from set A and one guy from set B testify? Instead, set A and set B, because they cancel each other out, there's no testimony. Who's a liar? Everybody has a chazaka that they're not lying. Correct? But if a guy from set A and a guy from set B come to testify somewhere else, one of them's for sure a liar. So that testimony wouldn't be valid. Understand?
Very good. Yes.